Hi and good morning everyone, and welcome to this Q Associates live event. So my name is Jerry Allen. I'm the head of the Modern Workspace practice here at Q Associates. So today's live event is on the subject of running Oracle workloads in the Azure cloud. The format of the event is that it will last about 15 to 20 minutes. And as well as the presentation, I've also opened up the Q&A. So if you've got any questions, please do post them through the Q&A section at any point during the event, and I'll do my best to answer those questions as we go along. Any questions I can't answer through the event, we'll take offline and deal with after the event today. So when we look at the recent IT survey that Q Associates run, one of the top challenges that comes out is this issue of upgrading legacy infrastructure systems. And when we drill down into the detail of that, what a lot of people were talking about was their Unix and Oracle workloads, and what the roadmap would be for those, especially when you look at that in combination with people's objective to move data center workloads into the public cloud. So one of the first challenges when we look at moving these complex business critical workloads into the public cloud is that there's a number of options available, and that sometimes causes some confusion. So the three main public cloud providers that we work with here at Q are Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud, and Amazon Web Services. Now, for your Oracle workloads, the main difference between these three providers is that Oracle and Amazon both offer what we'd call database as a service, as well as the infrastructure as a service, the IaaS offering. Whereas with Microsoft Azure, for Oracle workloads, it's really just an IaaS offering or an infrastructure as a service offering. So with that said, why are we talking about moving Oracle workloads to Microsoft Azure? Well, what we're finding from a number of our customers is that Azure and Microsoft in general is the strategic platform of choice for their public cloud workloads. There's a number of reasons for that. There's the collaboration with the Microsoft 365 infrastructure. So whereas with public cloud, obviously Azure is not the market leader or the monopoly, with Microsoft 365 it certainly is. And when we talk about things like Azure AD and Power BI, which are parts of the Microsoft 365 suite, then people see the benefits of joining up their whole Microsoft ecosystem with their data center workloads as well. We saw this, for example, recently with the London Borough that we've been working with, where they were already moving a number of data center workloads to Microsoft Azure. But they had an existing Oracle Business Suite workload to run their financial system, which was running on Spark Solaris in their data center. And they came to us and asked us if we could move that to Microsoft Azure. So what we did for them was we re-platformed that workload to Oracle Linux at the same time as moving it to Oracle Azure, to Microsoft Azure. So when we talk about moving Oracle workloads to Microsoft Azure, a number of questions come up from both the business and the technical side of the customer. One area that we also have to discuss is that these Oracle systems tend to be the core business systems, so the highest impact and therefore the higher risk of moving. Which is always true of these systems, I guess. These are business critical systems. The risk of any change or move or transformation of them is high. So what we're talking about today is how we've built up a number of reference architectures and a number of migration tool sets to make that journey as smooth and as low risk as possible. Other things that come up is, again, going back to this choice of public cloud, isn't Oracle Cloud better for your Oracle workloads? And isn't Azure really there just for Microsoft workloads? And that's very much not the case. I mean, yes, Oracle do offer the Oracle Cloud, and that's especially applicable for database as a service. But Oracle Corporation also fully certify your Oracle workloads to run in Microsoft Azure. So if you're running it on a supported operating system, whether it be Windows servers or Oracle Linux, then it's fully supported and fully certified. And this thought of Azure just being for Microsoft, Microsoft and ourselves, we were very keen to dismiss that comment in the sense that, Azure is just the rental of the tin and the hypervisor, and then any x86 workload can run on that. So any flavor of Linux, any flavor of Windows Server can run quite comfortably in Microsoft Azure, and Microsoft very much see it as a multi-platform environment. And then the technical questions that come up, obviously, is around, as we've already said, Azure is for IS only. But many of our customers, they've already got a DBA team of Oracle DBAs or a partner that they work with, so they're not looking to move to that database as a service with the extra costs that would involve, and they're very happy to leave their Oracle workloads running on infrastructure as a service. So those are really the use cases that we're talking about. And then there's obviously the challenge of migrating or replatforming the non-x86 Unix platforms into Microsoft Azure, which is really for x86 platforms. And as I said, we've got some reference architectures and migration strategies to help you address that issue. So when we're looking at migration from your on-premise data center to Microsoft Azure, if you're already running on Windows Server or Oracle Linux, then a straight lift and shift is available, and you can re-platform at the same time if you wish, but it's nice from a risk perspective to have the lift and shift option there. If you're on AIX, we now have an option to lift and shift directly into Microsoft Azure, running natively on a Power Platform. That's only available in North America at the moment, but it will be coming to Europe later this year. Q3 is the current slated date for that. But if you're on HP-UX or Solaris, then you will have to re-platform across to Oracle Linux would be our preferred target platform. I think if you're already on Unix, it makes a lot more sense to move to Linux rather than to Windows Server. So Oracle Linux would be our recommendation in that scenario. So a little bit more about that AIX platform. So as I said, it's running directly on Power hardware resident in the Azure data centers. So therefore allowing you to run all of your AIX, Linux and Windows workloads within the same data center. Got a couple of questions coming in actually. Let me just look at the Q&A page whilst we're here. So how does the Oracle Microsoft partnership for multi-cloud fit into all of this? No, that's a really good question, actually. So what Oracle and Microsoft have done there is that they're saying that the Oracle database tier that can run in the Oracle Cloud Data Center using database as a service typically, although it could be IS. And then your middle tier or the rest of your application and front-end infrastructure that can run in the Microsoft data center. And then those two data centers are interconnected to give you the network performance as if they were in the same data center. So as we touched on earlier, I think if you're looking for database as a service and you don't really have the DBA skills internally, then that might be the right answer for you, and that's a really good offering. The downside of a multi-cloud strategy is obviously you've got two separate management portals, two separate management planes, and you might have to look at kind of network infrastructure and firewall infrastructure in both data centers. So that's always the downside of a multi-cloud strategy. But it has its use cases, and we're not against that by any means. What we're talking really here is people that are looking for that consolidation in one data center or one public cloud provider. I've got another question here. Are you finding that customers are shunning the Oracle Cloud more generally due to their lack of investment in Oracle Cloud? I think that was certainly true, up until fairly recently. I think Oracle Cloud has definitely been lagging behind things like Amazon and Azure, and I think even Oracle would accept that. It is getting better. Oracle are still pushing the Oracle Cloud very firmly, especially for Oracle workloads. They can run other non-Oracle workloads in there as well, but for the database as a service option, it's one of the leading contenders out there. The price point also tends to be an issue. We're finding anecdotally when we look at price comparisons between running all of your workloads in Azure and running some of your workloads in Oracle Cloud. We're typically seeing the Oracle Cloud pricing coming out more expensive. So cost is definitely still an issue. Got another question. Does Oracle Linux include Red Hat Enterprise Linux? That's a really good question and one that comes up time and time again. So the official position from Oracle Corporation and their support infrastructure is that it's only Oracle Linux and Windows Server that's certified to run in Azure. Now, Red Hat Linux will run in Azure and it will run your Oracle workload. But as always with Oracle Corporation, if they've got an out, they've got the option of taking that out. And what they'll say is that you have to be able to replicate the problem in a pure supported environment before they'll look at it. So that could mean that you have to actually spin up a Red Hat environment on premise just to replicate the problem before Oracle support will engage. That's the worst case scenario. I mean, to be honest, most of the time they will give you the support anyway. But it's one, it's not an officially supported matrix. So if you want to be absolutely rock solid, then a replatforming to Oracle Linux would be our recommendation. And, if you're already on Red Hat, switching across to Oracle Linux isn't going to be a complex conversion, and we can definitely help you with that anyway. Yeah, so thanks for those questions. Let me just move on to the next slide now. So the other question that comes up time and time again is Oracle licensing. Oracle licensing, as we all know, is always a bit of a complex area. And in our on-premise data centers, it's been a real challenge, especially if our data center has been virtualized using something like VMware. Oracle Corporation have never accepted that VMware is a hard partition. So what that's meant is that we've had to leave our Oracle workloads either on separate physical hardware, or we've had to create a separate VMware farm just for the Oracle workloads, and then a separate VMware farm for our non-Oracle workloads. And that's given us management challenges and scaling challenges when we've got to manage two separate VMware farms for effectively the same environment. So someone is just asking, actually, how is Oracle DB licensed in Azure? So hopefully that's what we're calling out on this slide, is that there's a mapping ratio here, basically, both for Enterprise Edition and Standard Edition. So the Standard Edition scalability is actually slightly better in Azure than it is on premise. The fact that you can now go to 8 vCPUs, whereas I think in the past it was a maximum of 2 sockets on premise. So there's no concept of sockets in Azure, so they've had to map that to Azure CPUs, which typically gives us a little bit more scalability. Other than scalability, the other reason that people tend to move from Standard Edition to Enterprise Edition is for data guard, for high availability. So high availability in Oracle's world is only really available with Enterprise Edition. So what we've done here at Q Associates is that we've created our own management wrapper around the log shipping and standby database and badged that as QGuard. So exactly the same functionality that you'd get from DataGuard, but with QGuard you can run that on Standard Edition. So you'll know from Oracle's list pricing that the Standard Edition to Enterprise Edition ratio is about 7.5K per processor to 25K per processor. So more than 3 to 1. So so if you can downgrade from Enterprise Edition to Standard Edition as part of this transformation, and then use QGuard for your high availability, you could see some significant cost savings on your Oracle licensing there. So that's definitely one to look at. So what we have here is this is just one of many reference architectures that we've built. This is very similar to the one that we use for that number that I talked about earlier, where we deploy an Oracle database server and all of the front end infrastructure in the primary data center. And then we use our QGuard log shipping to replicate the data to a standby server in a second data center. So to give you a fully resilient, highly available business critical infrastructure. And what we've also done, because the Azure Marketplace only provides Oracle RDBMS images on Windows Server, whereas typically what we're looking for is Oracle Linux. What we've done here at Q is we've created a number of VM template images similar to marketplace images. What we've done is combined all of the recent versions of Oracle Linux with all of the recent versions of Oracle RDBMS, so we can fast track the deployment of these reference architectures and take a lot of risk out of the project, and get you up and running with an environment in Azure as quickly as possible. And then in terms of migrating across to those reference architectures, I mean, a number of options are available, and it very much depends on what your source system, operating system and RDBMS version is, and what target version we're looking to get you across to. Obviously, as we said, the lift and shift is the lowest option, lowest risk option. So if you're on a x86 platform already, then our starting point would be to just lift and shift that into Azure and get you over to the public cloud with as lowest risk and fastest time as possible. But we have if I show you the next slide, we have a guide here on what options are available depending on the source and target matrix. So it'll be lift and shift, export or import, or an RMAN, backup and restore, or even a standby database with a failover. That option will give us the lowest, the shortest production downtime if we can just fail over to a standby database in Azure as a migration strategy. Then obviously there's little or no downtime at all when you come to actually go live with your Azure environment. So that's obviously a good option if it's available. So that's been a fast track through some of the key issues that come up. Just to summarize, once again, if you want to run your Oracle workloads in Azure, we accept there are other options, but if Azure is the right platform for you, then it is fully supported and fully certified by Oracle Corporation. Microsoft will look after the Azure support up to the hypervisor level, but Oracle will fully support the Oracle Linux and the Oracle RDBMS versions that you want to run. And other, we talked a lot about RDBMS, but other Oracle technologies are supported as well. So middle tiers like WebLogic or Fusion middleware, they're all applicable as well. We talked a little bit about those proven reference architectures that we've invested a lot of effort in here at Q to make sure that your Oracle workloads run smoothly in Microsoft Azure. So if you want any more details about our reference architectures, or you'd like to see some examples of those, then please let us know. We touched on the migration process. Obviously, that's a key area to make that migration process as low risk and as smooth as possible. One of the nice things about moving to Azure or to moving into anywhere public cloud is effectively it's a new, fresh greenfield environment for your infrastructure. So testing that repeatedly and testing the migration process repeatedly is a key part of the project, so that when you come to actually switch over, it's just a final migration of the data that needs to be done. Everything else has been thoroughly tested prior to the live cutover. And we talked a little bit about the interoperability with Microsoft 365, which is one of the key reasons that we're talking about Microsoft Azure so much anyway. The fact that we've got the Azure AD, we've got that business intelligence piece covered, especially with Power BI. And we're seeing a lot of customers at the moment showing interest in migrating from those legacy business intelligence solutions, things like Oracle Business Intelligence, Oracle Discoverer, Business Objects, those sorts of workloads now being very much migrated into the Power BI world. So that's a key area for us as well. I've got one more question here. Wouldn't running DBAS in AWS Oracle Cloud be far simpler architecture, since we wouldn't have to worry about underlying OS, DB management and data guard? Yeah, that's absolutely true, and I'm not dismissing that by any means. I think if you're ready for database as a service, and you're looking to, you either haven't got the Oracle DBA skills or you're looking to downsize your Oracle DBA skills, then the database as a service option is a key. Is a key solution and one of interest. And as I said at the beginning, we do work with Oracle Corporation and we work with Amazon Web Services. I guess the main focus of today's event has been Azure, because we're getting a lot of questions from customers where Azure is their key strategy, is their key strategic public cloud provider. So today's event is very much focused on Azure, but it's by no means, our message is by no means that this is the only solution. Oracle Cloud and AWS are both very valid solutions, and we actually partner with both of those organizations as well. So very happy to help you look at those options if those are more appropriate for you. So that concludes our event for today. Thank you very much for the questions. They were very interesting. If you think of any more questions, or if I didn't manage to fully answer your questions that you asked today, then do please reach out to us on this dedicated email address, which we've created, Oracle and Azure at qassociates.co.uk. Or if you want a copy of the 2020 Q Associates survey that I referred to at the beginning of the event, if you want a copy of that, then please request that as well, and we can provide copies of that. The live event today will be on YouTube, on our usual YouTube channel, by the end of the day. So if you need to share it with colleagues, or you'd like to listen to it yourself again, then the event will be on YouTube. And our next event will actually be delivered by one of our vendors, Rubrik, and they're running an introduction to Rubrik event on Thursday the 28th of May at 9:30. So everybody that's joined the event today will automatically get an email invitation to that event, so please do share that with colleagues as well, and yeah, it'd be great if you could join us at that event. But once again, thanks for your time today, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you would like any follow-up questions on today's event, or for that matter on any other subject. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much.